Hello there, Richard, and hello, everybody else. Please unmute yourself, which you've already done. And let's see how this is going. I'm waiting to set up to go on live. And I think we are live. Shalom to everyone. Let me make sure. Yeah, that looks good. And how are you, my friend? I can't hear you. You got to unmute yourself, or I don't know what you got to do. Uh-oh. We apologize for these technical difficulties. Please stand by. No, I can't hear you.
How about now?
Now I hear ya.
Yay.
It was worth the wait.
Sorry about that. Yeah, so
How are you, Richard Booker?
yes, how have you been?
Been okay, We now that we used to meet every week, but then we started meeting once a month. And if I skip 1 month, then boom, it's been 2 months since we've met. I don't remember the last time we met.
I know you're such a busy young man.
I'm
You're
getting
so pop-
busier and busier. What can I say?
you're so popular over there in Israel. You're probably going to be running for prime minister next.
I'm afraid that Benjamin Netanyahu is going to outlive us all.
Well, whatever you want to say about him, he's hung in there for a long time.
Uh, it it's really like him against all of Israel, against the whole world.
Well, we have a similar situation there as we have in the US,
That's right. Can you like move a little bit to your I don't know, right? I'm not sure because you appeared already in the corner over there. Let's see
Uh,
how that looks now. Yeah.
I never can get this camera to work right here for some reason. I don't know what's going on here.
Okay.
No, it's not. I can't get it to stay in place for
Ah,
some reason. I don't know. It's that.
well, maybe instead of moving the camera, just move your chair.
Move my chair.
The other
Going.
way, the other way, the other way.
How's
A little bit more. A little
that?
bit more. Is that as far as you can go? Now you're perfect.
I'm gonna be outside if I move it anymore.
All right.
Yeah, so
Yes.
how have you been? What's happening with your family?
Well, the biggest news is that our daughter is getting married in 1 month.
Wow, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. Tell me a little bit about her soon-to-be husband.
He's a lovely, lovely young man who I think that she maybe went out with two or three, one or two men before him, but he's the one. And
Wow, her Bershert.
that's right. His name is Yehuda, Judah, which
Good
is
name.
a very good name for a Jewish boy. And he is in the military. He is an officer in the Maglan Commando Unit.
Oh, wow.
So this is something that we weren't too used to. My two sons were in the chaplaincy. Who are you saying
Peggy's
hello to
over,
over there?
Peggy's over here. I'm trying to get her over here to say
Come
hi.
on, Peggy, please, please. I've been waiting for years to see you.
Well, let's see. Can you see?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah, a little
now
bit
here I
more.
go. Okay,
Oh,
now, Gidon, you must be like family because I have no makeup on, so you are seeing me all natural.
I don't believe you. You are a beautiful woman.
Oh,
You know, don't tell that to Richard because he's going to say, I'm not going to bother buying you any makeup. You're beautiful without makeup. But I bet he's been saying that for decades, for
well,
years. How many,
no,
50, 60 years you guys married?
yeah, it's God has been so good. He has just.
Richard, excuse me. Where are your manners? There's a lady here. Stand up. Give her your chair.
I'm almost in his lap. He can't stand up.
She's sitting in my lap, get on. That's better.
Oh man, when are you gonna come to
Hey, look,
Texas and see
look at this,
us?
Mwah.
Okay, now I believe you that it's your wife. All right.
Yeah. Well, I will leave y'all to your visits.
No, stick around. I want to hear a little bit from you. I want to see if all those stories that Richard says are true.
Well, for instance.
Yes, they're all true.
Tell me, how are you doing, Peggy? I'm glad to see you.
I
Seem to be
tell you,
doing very
sit down
well.
here.
yeah, let me sit
I'm
down.
going to let her sit down here.
That's
Now, don't be
right. And you
flirting
sit on
because
her
the whole
lap.
world is watching.
Well, I know that you probably know if you remember, for a couple of years there, we were having a rough time with nerve pain and everything. And but as I said, God has been so good, and because of the prayers of people and God's love and faithfulness, I've not had the nerve pain in my leg for almost 2 years.
Oh, Baruch Hashem. I've been
Yeah,
praying from you. I've been praying from you from Hebron and Jerusalem.
I appreciate that so much. That's what's kept me encouraged and going, and I cannot say that without saying what a blessing my hubby has been. Gidon, he has learned how to grocery shop. He he learned the difference in the washing powder for our washing machine and the softener, the softener and everything. He had just stepped up to the plate and took such awesome care of me.
Don't tell my wife. She's gonna think, if he does it, you can't do it.
Well, I tell you, they're just he rose to the occasion like exceedingly above all that one could ask or think.
I'm not surprised even for a second. I'm sure that excels in everything that he tries to do.
He is more than I could have ever imagined to be blessed with, and I really mean that. I'm not just talking tongue in cheek. I really mean it.
Every day of your lives.
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's so beautiful. You guys should be guests at retreats for husbands and wives to say, look, we're together for such a long time. We still love each other like the day we met.
That's right. That's right. And people that know us will tell you that it's not just when we're out or something like that, and he's very affectionate. It's not just because he's out and we're with people. They'll say that's the way he acts all the time.
I never knew.
I'll tell you a little story. This happened many years ago. There was a family where we had Bible study in their home for about, oh goodness, 5 years or so. And we got to see their girls grow up. They had 5 beautiful daughters, blondes, all names starting with an S. So that, you can imagine the daddy and mama's frustration when they're trying to say one or the other. And then finally they'd just say, girls. But anyway, we were at the mall one day. This was many years ago. And Shandy, she was 13 when we first met. And just, you know how some people, it's not that you love them more than the other, but they're just something that captures your heart and you relate. So anyway, that was their next to the youngest daughter. And so she comes home one day and she tells her mom, she said, Mom, I saw the Bookers at the mall. And Wendy said, oh, you did? Well, did you go over and say anything? She said, no, Mom, they were holding hands. Oh, man, so funny. So funny.
Beautiful.
Well, how is your lovely wife doing? Is she in good health, Gidon, your family?
Thank God. We just celebrated. Richard, you can hear me, can you?
Yes, he can hear you.
Yeah.
We just celebrated my wife Deborah's 60th birthday with a surprise party.
Was she really surprised?
Yes. Well, she says
Oh.
she was, and I tend to believe her.
That is so neat. Wow. Will you tell her that I said she's just a little chickie because I'm 83 So 60 is young, 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 young.
I know. I would not have guessed that you're 83. I would have guessed that you're
83.
63 yourself.
Oh, Toda Rabah.
Oh, and you know Hebrew also.
Oh, man. Well, it is so nice to finally meet you. I know to me, it's been such a joy of these last couple of years, you and Richard communing like this, and it's very special.
I do hope that we will be able to spend more time together, my friend.
Would like that. Do you anticipate coming to the States anytime this year?
I might come at some point because I'm working on a project that might be beneficial if I'll come to Texas to try to raise monies for it.
Uh-huh.
I'll tell you. Again, I'm telling Richard also.
He's right here.
A few months ago, I met a Holocaust survivor. Look who I'm talking to. You guys wrote the books. So I started talking to her. He actually was introduced to me by a Christian friend. And I went to visit him. He lives in Mea Shearim in Geula, just next to Mea Shearim.
Mhm.
And he's a rabbi, and he's 94 years old.
Oh my goodness.
And he's still sharp like a tack.
That is awesome.
And so I started asking him questions. Where were you born? Had you tell me a little bit of your story? Then I had to leave, and I asked him if I could bring this Christian friend the next time. And he said, sure. I guess he's at an age when he can say yes to anything. Nobody has to ask him any question. He doesn't answer to anybody but God.
I got you.
So she came and she started asking him questions. And he said, listen, I can answer your questions, but it's all written right here in my autobiography that I wrote about 10 years ago.
Ah.
So he takes out a 30-page photocopied letter-sized typewritten document
Mhm.
in Hebrew. I said, well, that's not going to help her too much. She doesn't know Hebrew. And I get the idea. How about if I translate it into English?
Mhm.
And I publish it more than just this a mimeographed piece of paper. So, I've already published about 20 books.
Uh-huh.
So I'm working now. I hope that I'll be able to present it to him by his birthday.
And when is that?
His 95th birthday. So the story is that I asked him when his birthday is because I looked in his manuscript. It didn't say when he was born. I asked him, when are you born? He said, oh, it's not important. What are you talking about? I said, listen, when I moved to Israel after the Holocaust, I didn't know when my birthday was.
Oh, wow.
I didn't bring my birth certificate or anything like that. So I decided that my birthday was going to be December 12th. 12/12, it's an easy number to remember. But then my older brother came to Israel, and he found out that my birthday was December. He said, no, your birthday isn't December. Your birthday was before Passover. So that's when his birthday is.
Wow. Do you know what year?
In 1930.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
What month?
So is it January, February, March, what?
April.
April. Okay.
One of the first days of April. He didn't know exactly the day, but it's not so important.
Yeah. But his brother lived through it also then?
Yes.
Any of his other family?
His brother and his sister, but his parents didn't make it.
Wow. Bless his
And
heart.
I think he had more than just 2 or 3. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'm also a second generation Holocaust survivor. My father also survived the Holocaust, and there are 2 kinds of second generation Holocaust survivors: the ones that know all the stories, and the ones that can't remember a single story.
Too bad.
And
Yeah.
that's me. But it's okay. My brother remembers all the stories.
Well, that's wonderful. I tell you what, just an encouragement. Get your brother to write it down or record it or something like that, because as there will be times when you're going to say, well, I wonder about that. Well, what about this or what about that? And your children and your children's children will want to know. I wish I had asked more questions about my mom and dad and their growing up and my grandmother and grandfather and whatnot. I wish I had asked more because now there's no one that is still alive that could answer a lot of the questions,
So you might know that Steven Spielberg, he is a great
Yes,
Hollywood director,
producer.
producer, and he created a foundation. I don't remember if it's called the Spielberg Foundation, but that's what everybody calls it, to interview Holocaust survivors.
Mhm.
So he evidently interviewed, not him personally, but he trained a whole bunch of people, tens of thousands of people, and my father was one of them.
Oh, wow. That's
So,
incredible.
so I looked it up and I found my father's video, and there he was. He passed away like 15 years ago, but there he was talking to me. It was very touching.
Oh, I can only imagine. I
So
can only
I'm
imagine.
hoping that I'll be able to get permission and and transcribe his video and
Yeah.
publish it as a book also.
Wow. Go for it. Go for it. It's important.
And not only
We have-
him and this Rabbi Dermer, who is the rabbi that I'm now publishing his book, but I
Mm.
want to publish 100 books of Holocaust survivors'
Wow.
stories.
Yeah. No, I'll never forget. This was years. I don't even remember the year. Years ago that we had gone to the Holocaust Museum in Washington, and I'd been to Yad Vashem numerous times on our tours and everything over there. But there was something about going through and seeing the uh, railroad car,
Yes.
some of the other things that I had not seen before. And I wish I'd had more than, we had like 5 hours there, and that's not enough time, but it was better than nothing, it
Of
was better
course.
than nothing. And I remember sitting in their theater there and getting to listen to some of the different, survivors and touch my heart. And then that was the thing when we were having our Kristallnacht memorial services that we
Right.
did every year. And what the people said, not only was it a joy to get to know and meet and communicate and be with the survivors, but the folks who came, the people who came to attend. I remember that first couple of years, they said, we've read books and, we've seen movies and da, 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 but they said, you've given us a
A
face,
human face.
a human face. Yeah.
Made it real
Yeah.
personal.
So it became
Exactly
very,
right.
very personal to them because we had time for the people to come down and visit with them and talk with them, and all that. Yeah. Wouldn't take $1 million for all of those years that we had together. Yeah.
So I'm only hoping to raise $500,000. $5,000 per book for 100 books. That's 500,000.
Well, you know what? The Lord has an unlimited bank account.
That's right.
An unlimited, yeah.
So
And
I'm hopefully going to have like some sort of a fundraising event, and maybe I'll invite you guys there, not to give money, but to help raise the money.
hey, well, I'd love to just get to be with you and fellowship with you. But we
That's
can
for
pray
sure.
for you. We can pray for you in that venture,
Thank you very,
Gidon,
very
because
much.
it is an important, very important thing to do. Yeah.
Very much so. And not every Holocaust survivor survived till 95.
Yes, right. That is for sure. I was just thinking, maybe would you say that all of them that we knew?
Except for Ruth.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me of that. Yeah. All of the ones that we had that came and spoke and that we got to know over the years have passed on now, with one exception. And she was a child survivor. She was a hidden child. And thank God, yeah. Ruth Steinfeld is her name, and she's very active.
Does she have her story either videotaped or written down?
Probably so, yeah.
It's at the Holocaust Museum.
Yeah, it's at the Holocaust Museum in Houston. Mhm.
Is she still able to communicate well?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
very
yeah.
much. We saw her just, I guess it was last month, yeah.
So
Yeah.
please see if she's willing to do a Zoom with me. I would love to meet her.
Oh, I'm sure she would. Yeah. Maybe you can take care of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do that. We sure
Very
will.
good.
Yeah. Oh, she's a sweetheart. She and her sister, her older sister, Leah. Leah was like a year and a half or something like that older than her. And so if I'm remembering right, Ruth said that Leah was 6 and she was 5 when her parents took them to leave with the organization that she was going to stay with. And she said, I'll never forget this. She said, the last thing I remember was waving at my mother and saying, bye, mother. And mother said, be a good little girl for Leah.
Do what Leah
Yeah,
tells
and
you.
do what Leah says. Yeah. Leah was our very first speaker for Crystal Knock.
Wow.
Yeah.
Seven.
Yeah. That was in 1997. Gosh, that's almost 20 years ago then.
It's almost 30
Woo!
years ago.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Lord, yes. It's going so fast, you know. Phew. Well, I'm going to let my beloved come back and visit with you. And it's been so nice to meet you and talk to you and see you.
Richard, maybe I'll have to start going back to once every 2 weeks so I can spend time with Peg as well.
God bless you. And please tell your wife, happy, blessed birthday.
Amen. Toda rabah.
Yes. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, there really is a Peggy.
Okay. It's taken a long time, but now I believe you. And now
So
I
what
believe
did-
that everything else you ever told me is true also.
Absolutely. It's all true. Now you know for sure. So tell me about your plans for pyramids coming up this week.
Just 1 second. I just remembered. I just had a meeting with Ann Stacy. You know Ann.
Yes.
So she brought in a friend of yours that's now a friend of hers, Cindy Chappelle, something like that.
I'm not sure. I don't know, Gidon.
Okay, but she said that she was at Lucas's church. Lucas, does that name sound familiar?
Frank and Wendy Lucas.
Frank Lucas, that's right.
Yes.
She
Well,
was
you
like
know,
the prayer leader or something like that there.
I think I know who you're talking about. Well, Peggy told you the story a while ago about the young girls that saw us at the mall. This,
Shandy.
this is the Lucas girls.
Why do you like that?
Yes, we had a Bible study in Frank and Wendy's home for 5 years. That's a long time. And out of that, Frank learned what it takes to study the Bible, and he got called by God to be a pastor after that. And he's older now, but they had a vibrant Christian congregation for many years that came out of that Bible study. So these girls are good Christian girls, married women now, but good fruit. Good fruit came out of all of that many years ago, back in the 80s, so long ago. Yes.
And what the Frank Lucas? He's at a church in the Houston area.
Well, he's retired now, but yeah, his son-in-law, I think, is the pastor. But yeah, Frank and Wendy. So we met in their home for 5 years.
What's the name of their church?
Huh?
What is the
I
name of
don't
the church?
I don't know if I remember the name of it.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but so yeah, so it wasn't a whole lot of people that came, but you don't look at the numbers, you look at the results. And Frank and Wendy were the results, and their beautiful daughters, and just a whole beautiful family of good Christian people that love Israel and love people, and good fruit came from that. So
I would definitely love to meet them, just like I'm looking forward to meeting Ruth, I'm looking forward to meeting them.
We'll try to get Ruth in touch with you, get you in touch with Ruth. We'll call her, and I'm sure she's very active. We saw her about 3 or 4 weeks ago at a Holocaust event where I was giving a little talk, and I'm sure she'd be glad to chat with you. I don't know if she does Zoom or not. I don't know what her computer capabilities are, you know.
I hope so. Well, maybe I'll ask this Cheryl Chappelle or Cindy Chappelle to step over. She lives in a place called Wimming or something like that, something with a W nearby
I
Houston.
wouldn't have any idea. Get on. It's a bigger
Willis, I don't.
Texas is pretty big.
Yeah.
You can put 40 Israels in Texas, I think. I'm not sure, but a whole bunch of them.
It's not the quantity, it's the quality.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Anyway, so you asked about Purim. So my grandchildren are getting dressed up, and I'm gonna put
Okay.
a funny hat on, and we're gonna go.
Okay.
Deborah and I are gonna go to our friends in Efrat, not far from here, and it'll be a lovely time.
Well, I hope it's a joyous, happy celebration for you.
Most certainly will be. How about you? Are you celebrating Purim somehow?
I'm sure we will here on the property. We've got some friends on the property. We'll probably have a little Purim party, you know. We usually read the book of Esther together, and uh it's such an important book in the Bible. Of course, there's 3 or 4 key phrases in the book of Esther that are very meaningful to me. But of course, the one for most everybody is
Esther 4:14.
for such a time as this, you know, and that's such an important scripture because God raises up people to further His purposes on the earth for such a time as this, you know, and every generation. While there's a Haman in every generation, there's also a Mordecai and an Esther
That's
in
right.
every generation.
Mhm.
So Peg and I want to be the Mordecai and Esthers of this world.
And you certainly are.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, I've got to go. This is why we made our meeting earlier. I will probably switch our meeting. Well, it's a little hard to tell because the sun is setting later and later. So I think that we'll be able to stick with our time. Well, we'll take it one week at a time, one day at a time.
Okay. Well, give your family a big hug from us in Texas and tell them that we love them with God's love in our hearts and want only God's best for them.
Amen, amen. Thank you very much, sir. It's always a pleasure.